Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Emily, this
How are
is
you?
Nick.
Hi.
Emily.
Nice to meet you.
I'm thinking right now in this moment that I probably should have come up with some sort of like introduction like you did with your mom, but I didn't do that. But
That's okay.
but this is Nick Swint. We used to work together at First Watch and he's just fun to talk to. And so yeah, I invited him on today. And
I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be awesome.
so pretty much I chose to have him on today because I wanted to, I guess, give our platform to him so that we could learn basically. Because I always want to talk about things and then I feel like it's not my thing to say pretty much. And I also
Not
want
my
to see
place.
where I'm being blind to things and just basically trying to learn. So
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm in.
you're in.
Yeah, I'm in.
Sweet.
Well, welcome to our little white picket fence.
Yes, welcome.
You wanted to tell him something about you?
Something about me?
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a whole lot to tell. What you see is what you get. That's it. Like, I can tell you that I was playing with fake tattoos and that's what this came from. So
Ooh, I kind of like it.
Okay.
do you?
Are you thinking about getting one there?
I thought about it until I put a fake one there and then no. Like emphasizes the wrong parts of me. Anyway.
You're crazy, but okay.
I know.
Mm.
Anyway, that's me.
Yes. And you know me, so.
Yes.
Basically, I'm a blonde Rachel.
Oh, Rachel's amazing. So that's saying a lot.
Yes, I think so too.
Go on.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. Have you been in Florida long?
Yes,
Where did you grow up?
Florida always. I've been in Florida since '97.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's quite a while.
Young, yeah.
Was that the year you were born?
Yeah.
I've been here since 97.
Yeah,
That's
97.
That's a cool way of saying it. Yeah,
And that's the year my husband graduated.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so always in Florida, bounced around a lot, usually Central Florida. I went to New York for a little while, upstate New York, and then
Sweet.
yeah, and then back down to Florida. Nothing like home.
Yeah.
It's warm there.
It's amazing.
That's what I like.
Have you lived anywhere other than Utah and Idaho? And the short stint on the East Coast?
Yeah, like besides a couple months in Massachusetts and one in Canada. No,
Nice.
that's it.
Nice.
I don't
Yeah.
know why. You were talking about
And
where
you've
you
been-
lived, so I was thinking.
And you've been all over the place.
Kind of, yeah. I've been in a lot
Yeah.
of. I was born in
Utah and Missouri
Texas,
and yeah.
grade school, Missouri, went to high school in Utah, moved to New Jersey, moved to Indiana.
Nice.
I'm in Florida
You picked Florida, huh?
for right now. Actually, I really like it though. I will call it, I'd say as far as
No,
just the climate and everything, it's my favorite for sure. I enjoy so many aspects of the other places that I lived and I love to visit there. But if I never have to scrape snow off my window again, that'll be too soon.
Yeah. No, I feel
wanna
that
do
on a deeply personal level.
Yeah. Yet you choose it when you could be here
true.
with me.
It's true. I do. I'm sorry. Someday we will come down.
It's beautiful up there, though.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, especially.
No, I've only seen pictures of Idaho and Utah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys should do. Oh my God, you guys should do the road trip. I know I'm like, I invite people to do the most random stuff, but you should do a road
That's
trip
how
with
you have
us to
fun.
go out. Because my parents have a big old passenger van.
A word.
So like it's feasible. We've done a trip with Anthony's parents in it where, it fits a lot of us. So
Nice.
Let's just throw everybody in the van and go.
It's good to see things.
But it is beautiful here. Like you were saying, we are at South Fork Lodge right now. And we pulled up here the other day and there's like 40 elk out in the meadow area. And we went to these hot springs yesterday that have this big hot spring waterfall. This is a waterfall, by the way. This is like just the hot water cascading down these cliffs. And it's really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff here.
Is that an invite?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Is this the one that you're somebody, a friend or a family is purchasing?
Sister and brother-in-law. Yep, we came up to help them finish up the bunkhouse for the people who work here.
That is awesome.
That is.
It's pretty dang cool.
Lucky duckies.
Yeah.
I know, right? So fun.
anyways, so I guess I should
Okay,
stop
yeah, back.
talking and
Hey, I'm enjoying
Let's
the
get to
process.
it.
yeah,
Let's do
yeah.
it.
I guess so. I don't really have a direct question to ask. I just,
Agenda.
other than like, what are some things that you would like me to hear, like all of us to just, I don't know, who are white and feel like
Yeah.
we want to be helpful, we want to be an ally, because we don't have any feelings of hate, but we feel like there's just so many things that maybe we should be doing to change it for you or help you, you know what I mean? But
Facts.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, you just gotta realize like what our biggest fears are. You know, on our side, like every day is when you leave your house, there's the opportunity to not come home. Like every day. You
and
know,
that's
whether
at
it's
the
like
forefront of your mind.
yeah, every day. Like every day. And knowing that like I have to teach my kids, you know what I'm saying, to avoid certain things. Like other than that, like it's pretty cool. Like, you know, there's ups and downs. I'm sure there is with every culture, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for the most part, it's just growing up targeted. And you'd think that it's less than what I say, and I don't wish to like push it out of proportion because it's not, you know,
No.
it's something to play with, but it's just it's something right there all the time that you can never stop thinking about.
Yeah, a
You know?
daily reminder, and it's not something that I have to live with. I don't have to live with always kind of having my guard up in that way.
Yeah, and like, you know, I learned early on, you know, let me veer the other way and see if there's, you know, the grass is always greener side. So like there was the way that my family, you know, taught me to be, and then the way that I chose to be. And I say that to say, even when I speak, you know, properly, you know, with the correct clothes and the correct posture and manner, it still is frightening to say the least. And you know the odds are against you the entire time. Prime example, me and my two kids and my young lady that I have their mother, my fiance. Um, we were in a hotel recently. We paid for the month. Um, there was a paperwork issue. No one knew, of course, but either way, they came to the door, and on the second knock, they said that, you know, within 10 minutes they're gonna call the sheriff if we don't leave. And so, you know, I
Man.
open my door and I say, well, you know, our paper says that we're not supposed to check out till tomorrow, and I have the payment for another month right here. And but as soon as the guy seen me, it was like he thought I was going to be a problem or aggressive or in some way a problem. You could see that he was maybe intimidated or afraid or he felt some type of way. And and so just the morning I work overnight, so waking up to this knock, you know, 2 3 hours after I went to sleep, it was like waking up to, oh my gosh, you're gonna immediately try to take my freedom from me, like,
A
and
place I'm paying to live.
yeah, and it doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but once on site, like
Yeah, it does.
it's another, you know, thing because now we're fighting for this or
No,
that,
it
and
is a big deal having like, you don't have huge like home security as is when you're needing to pay monthly to stay in a hotel. And so to take away that little bit of security that you had is huge.
yeah,
You know, it's such a
and like I
horrible.
said, the worst part was not like I had the money right there and he wouldn't take
Yeah.
it. You know, it was as if he
Yeah.
thought I was going to be so much of a problem. Like,
Yeah. I see it, and I learned a lot from just the little bit of time that Nick and I worked together. Um, just because I felt like I could see it in certain people in a way that I never had before. And I think it was because I finally was having interaction daily with a Black person. I'd always, while I'd had very friendly conversations because I love everybody, I'd never been there to witness their life play out. You know what I mean? So
Yep. Never been close enough
yeah,
to.
which is embarrassing and annoying, and
For real.
which is why I want to speak, because I'm like, there was never any malintent on my part. And I kind
Mhm.
of think it's because they say, like, don't talk about things, don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics, because they need those things to divide us, when really we need to start talking a hell of a lot more, because
yeah,
like those things shouldn't make us mad. We're all human. We should have
Mhm.
similar goals to take care of each other, you know, as a whole. Like there's just so much, I don't know, bullshit. And
Yeah. We definitely gotta learn to like respect each other's, religions and stuff, and not just, ignore them. And, you know, we may not like follow them, but at least acknowledge them and where they are, so we don't have to fight and go over,
Yeah.
multiple things.
Not everybody has to think the same or have the same opinion. We can have differing views without
Yeah.
immediately attacking each other.
well, and if people didn't see other people's existence or views as an attack on their own, I think so many
Yeah.
people that they don't experience like all these other walks of life, whether it that you're a person of color or that you're LGBTQ or whatever. They just can't, they cannot even fathom, I guess. And
Well, and don't you think you've got all these different groups and different people and different views, but the best way to combat that is just to get to know somebody of that other group. You know what I mean? You can sit and debate and we can have talks about, oh, this is right and this is right.
yeah,
But as soon as you like meet people and get to know them and get to know why they are the way that they are and why they think the way that they think, I think you're a lot more able to see things from another person's point of
yeah.
view.
And I feel like we way too much, like the neighborhood I live in is so white, and there's, you know what I mean?
Yours?
Like, you know what I mean? Yes. Like, and
I live in Idaho, the whole state.
I think I was, I know, but I'm just like, and everybody's so nice, but I'm like why? Like, it's got to be a systemic thing. Obviously, when it turns up this way, when everybody says they're not a certain way, then why does it keep being this way? And it could just be that everybody wants to kind of live within their own cultures because they live a life and they enjoy it, and maybe everybody doesn't enjoy the same things. And I get that, but I'm like, how are people going to interact with and have friends with when they keep themselves living away from?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How can you learn when we continue these stupid practices that are basically happening without us even thinking about it? So you have to be very intentional about it. And how can we get people to be intentional about like, hey, I need to learn this.
Yeah. And it can be hard to push yourself out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Anyways, I started talking
ever-
over you like
no,
I
you're
always
good.
do.
You're good.
Because I want to learn from you.
I mean, like I say, first and foremost, I think that's the biggest difference between most races is just the constant threat, because like once the police are there, or God forbid you go into the handcuffs, once the political system's in effect, like, or the legal system's in effect, like it's such a hard thing to stop. And most people financially can't afford to do anything, let alone what they're supposed to do. So then once you get on that side of it, then you're stuck. And then when you come out, now you're labeled. And it's a pattern that it seems unbearable and fightable. But like I said, even from my best perspective of always trying to go about things the best way and the way I would want my kids to hear their father went through it, but it's never went the way I hoped it should or thought. At least this would be the most correct way to go about it, in society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I saw that in action. When we were working together, because I think I tried to tell you about this before, a little bit about my friend who had a pullover incident where it was all clerical, but because the cop only gave him the option to either get in the car and go to jail that day or go to court and prove yourself, he had to take off time to go to court, which then looks like you've done something when he's done nothing. And I saw the way that they reacted at work. And even though it was just a little thing, like there was something there, and it was sucks because it's like, I know he literally did nothing other than exist the color that he is. And like the story, I never would have had that happen to me. I've had stories where I've got pulled over once where I had a license plate on my car that wasn't the license plate that was supposed to be on my car. It was a pure accident. I'd come from the dealership, but still, I didn't even get a ticket. And I'm like, I appreciate that, but that should be everybody's experience because that's common sense without prejudice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you mine the other day where I got pulled over for.
This is embarrassing. Tell it again. Tell him.
Great. I get to relive this one. No, so I was coming out of the doctor's office, the dentist actually, and I called my husband to tell him how it went. And I didn't have a free hand, so I didn't use my blinker, right? So I turn at the stop sign and a cop pulls me over. I'm like, crap. Okay. So he pulls me over and he said, do you know why I stopped you? It's because you didn't stop long enough at that stop sign. And I said, oh, I thought it was because I didn't use my blinker and I was on my phone. And he's like,
Wow.
I'm sorry that I'm laughing because
no.
I feel like an asshole.
No, I laughed too. As soon as I said it, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, anyway, and he let me off with a warning, I think.
Which is what everybody should get because of common sense. Like, look at your record. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I mean, if you were a 16-year-old
yeah.
who maybe had been getting pulled over on repeat, and then you'd be like, okay.
Even if I was, okay, let's call a spade here. Like, even if I was a dude, like, I don't think you would have let him off. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
That was our girl privilege too. Both of us.
Which I'm grateful for. I'm not gonna,
but
thank you for not giving me a ticket. Please don't ever. Anyway.
But maybe don't power trip on anybody.
Yeah.
Thanks.
My husband got pulled over one time for going 5 over. And the cop said, I would have given my own mother a ticket for going 5 over. And my husband's like, wow. If you would have done that, man, you're a dick. Like, you would have given your own mom a ticket. Dude.
Well, in Anthony's defense, he's a slower driver than I am. So I haven't got to experience him being pulled over much, or maybe just the fact
that's good.
And that's another
that's good.
Probably white privilege. The fact that nobody's randomly checked his plates and been like, I need to check you out.
Yeah. Or seen you through the windshield and been like, seems sketchy.
Yeah, that's happening.
Why are you in this neighborhood? Yeah.
Oh, will you tell her the story about you getting picked up by a cop off the stoop at your house?
Oh, when I was sitting out front,
mm-hmm.
It was just me outside of my house. You
were what, 18? I think you said you were.
No, I was younger than that. I was probably like 14,
really?
15.
Okay.
Yeah, sitting outside my apartment complex.
Okay.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, cops never really drive through the apartment complex, but for whatever reason he did. I was sitting on my front porch, right there, and literally he stopped right in front of the house. He rolled his window down. He asked, what I was doing. I told him I lived there, like, this is my apartment, and he was like, if it's your apartment, then go inside. And I was like, all right. So, I went to go open the door. My grandma had it locked at the time. I knocked. As soon as I looked back from me knocking, he was already getting out the car coming to me. So, he came. I don't remember like the exact words at the moment, but he ended up sitting me in the car, and he was basically telling me like, I'm going to take you down to the detention center unless you have somewhere to go. And we actually left the apartment complex, me in the back of his car. And for whatever reason, we got halfway out of the city, and he let me use his phone to call my auntie. And then I was able to get dropped off there. But even then, it was just, a number versus the house I was at, But
well, just there's no
situation.
way. I mean, I was out as a kid a lot, and I was never picked up, thought to be not where I should be when you were right outside your apartment complex. Like that. I mean, I just feel like your stories like that need to be broadcast to anybody who's living in like Idaho, where they think that they're understand, being like, well, I understand, and of course I have no hate, but they don't realize that there's a system that is like propagating a certain amount of hate. I feel like, and whenever like all of the different progressive things happen, where it's like, okay, we finally did this, and then we kind of back off a little bit, but we forget that there was always opposition. Like, even though it's all progress, there's still people who are constantly fighting progress. Yeah. And if we stop pushing forward, the opposition is going to keep on, just like we learned at church, only it's on the other side of it, where they're saying the opposition is anybody who's going to tell you to think anything outside of what you have been told you are allowed to think.
Yeah, that's opposition in all things. Yeah. Going back to your story, though, I think of me at 14, 15 years old and having a random cop that I didn't know come up to me, when I'm by myself and say, hey, get in my cop car and drive. I would have been pee my pants scared, not just like, oh, this is a case of mistaken identity. I mean, that's like, basically you've just been kidnapped.
And your dad is a lawyer. So
yeah.
But again, once you get all the way to the jailhouse and it's in effect,
you already look like you're in the system, whether you did
Yeah,
anything or
Yeah.
not. You've already been
it's a process.
Assumed
pulled
guilt,
in,
even
and now
though
everybody just thinks, yep, another criminal. When
Yeah.
it's like, how can I not?
I could give you a lot of examples like that. It was a Friday. I had a black car, you know, my little black Kia.
Mhm.
I was driving. It was maybe 8 o'clock at night. There was no other cars on the road. I had all four of my windows down. I was listening to the radio. The cop, we get close enough to make eye contact. He's sitting on the side of the road. As soon as we get close enough to make eye contact, skin to skin, he turns on his lights. He's at first he doesn't turn on his light. He pulls out behind me, but as soon as he pulls out behind me, he turns on his lights. And so I pull over, and I ask him like, "Hey, so what's the reason for pulling me over?" He's like, "I could have pulled you over for any reason." I said, "Oh, but what reason is it?" He was like, "I could have pulled you over for your tip. I could have pulled you over for any reason." I was like, "Well, for whatever reason are you pulling me over?" Because I have my seatbelt on, I wasn't speeding, you know, like I have my radio on, I have windows up, so down, so you can't even say the tent was too dark because it was all four windows down. But you know, first thing we know is not to argue. You know, you argue too much and they say you're aggressive. And so you move too fast and they're going to yank you out your car. And these are things that happen with the best intentions, you know. So I've had canines walk in my car with my daughter's still strapped in their front seat or in their car seat,
sheesh.
excuse me. Yeah, I've been where we used to work at. There's a bank behind there. I've been to that bank at like again maybe like 7:30, 8 o'clock, you know, evening time, and I've got pulled over. And the reason for me being pulled over was because there was robberies in the area and a white truck with three individuals, black with dreads. I was in a red truck. It's just me. I mean, I have the hair, but it's just me. I don't
You were
even fit your description. Like
you were guilty of having dreads.
Mhm.
basically. And that night ended up being scary to say the least. It took me like 2 hours to get out of that situation. I was in handcuffs for, you know,
Jeez.
like I said, 2 hours, an hour and a half, you know, pleading. By the time 4 or 5 cops came, and I was at the bank, so I pulled out $20 in cash. I was on the seat. They're asking me why I have money on the seat. Like it's
Ooh,
this
you were
wouldn't
guilty of
be a
having dreads and $20?
no, it's all of it
That's
together and then
crazy.
none of it all, you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
And
and if
probably
that happened to a white person, I have to imagine it would have made some sort of, it would have got some attention. You know what I mean? Whereas if it happens
would
all
think.
the time, like it seems like I know Nick. Nick is a friend of mine. Like he's not out there doing anything heinous. He's just living his
Nefarious.
life. Exactly. I'm like, we all do our things. Nobody's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Of course.
but I also know he's not a criminal and he's not a bad person. So like if it's happening to him, I mean, especially when you're a teenager and you're just being, they are kind of like young and stupid. And if they're already being targeted, like it's like literally forcing them into a certain system. And there's like to say that
Yeah.
it's not is ignorant. And we have to stop being afraid of saying it and saying, how can we change this?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and Nick, do you feel like when you're in that situation, you go to the police station, there's absolutely nothing you could say to get your point across? There's no, I mean, do you feel like it's fallen on deaf ears?
Oh man. There's layers to answering that. First, I would never go to the police department just because I don't think I would walk out for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? But to go deeper into your question, just recently there was a situation where I was perfectly in the right and the cops never even asked me my side of the story. I was detained and withheld for
Really?
28 days before I even asked by a
Jeez.
public defender my side. 28 days
Really?
in the county, no bail. For something that was once they heard, they let me go the same day.
Wasn't it a family scuffle?
Yeah. But again, you know, 28 days later, I was
Yeah.
lost my job. You know, I live with four daughters. You know what I'm saying? So one of my daughters I put to
Yeah.
sleep, and then she woke up to me not being there. You know, my cousin had to come to my house to take care of my daughters because no one even knew what was going on. And by the way my family heard this story on the phone, they knew there was nothing to worry about. They said, just tell the police what happened. There's nothing to worry about. The police came. By the time they knocked on the door, they had my whole house surrounded. They said that if I didn't open the door, they were going to kick it in. I came out openly, willingly, open-handed, and You know, it was still from there. They immediately detained me. They put me in the back of the car, and I never even got to cite my story. In fact, the things that I said in defense on the way to getting forced into the car were all used against me in the report. So, like, never
Really?
was I even given the fairness of, you know, paying taxes and being a parent and, you know, working a job and being a part of society and trying to go to college at the time. But, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
none of that matters.
It's infuriating because like knowing it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
What can I, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so like, what can I do more personally? Like I try to be just a safe person for everybody and a
Mhm.
safe space, but that doesn't change anything in the big picture. So then I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I want to use my voice because maybe because it's coming out of my mouth, somebody might listen. Whereas when it comes out of Nick's mouth, they already have an opinion.
Yeah.
So, but
Preconceived
then I feel
conceptions.
like this is not my fight, because then I feel like I'm stepping on
Yeah.
somebody else's toe. Not that I don't want to fight it, but I don't want to fight it wrong, and I don't want to.
No, I don't think.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
earlier, I don't know if you noticed, I said that there's been a lot of progress. And I
Mhm.
say that dual bladed, you know, like
Okay.
there's been a lot of progress, but if you realize where it's come from, like you'd see how much more progress there needs to be. Because there's been a lot of progress. And the biggest part of our society, I'm gonna say it like it's split, you know, we live here,
Yeah.
is economically, like we don't have it. Like we're fighting over crumbs, literally. Like, you know,
Yeah.
we can work. Prime example, you can work a 2 week job, 40 hours a week, and not pay for 1 week in a hotel. You know, you might work a month at a job and not be able to afford a $800 mortgage, you know, or have any of the amenities that come with it, or being able to, you know, spend time
Yeah.
with the kids and take the kids to a restaurant because there's no jobs that take you that are giving you the good enough money to make things happen. Or, you know,
Yeah.
it's
And
just, and even like transportation, you know, if you go to a car dealership, you know, we're not likely to get the a functional car, to say the least. You know, we have to go to like
Yeah.
a non-name brand dealership and get a car that's not even certified. It's probably going to last less time, more money. And like we're fighting the current in every direction, and it's just to be even. You know what I'm saying? Where
Mhm.
most
Hmm.
people start off. So
I know that I started off with, just because my family has been able to, well, like my family, as far as like my husband's family and my own family, like everybody helps in their own way. But the
Yeah.
help that I receive from them that has put us where we are, like, and I came from a very poor background. Like growing up, we definitely didn't have excess, but I can even see now that my grandfather is who kept us afloat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, whereas when nobody ever had anything in the first place, who was there to keep them afloat? As these systems
Yeah.
that we have in place don't actually work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. To have that support system is huge. To know that
Mhm.
if for some reason my whole world came crashing down, I would still have family to fall back on in both directions. My husband's family, my family, brothers, sisters. Nobody would let us starve or go homeless, you know?
that is a blessing. That
Yeah.
is
Huge.
such a blessing.
It is. And we both have that. So it's like, I don't know, it feels like,
I'm envious. I'm not even gonna lie.
yeah,
I'm
no, and
completely
you
envious.
should be. But the thing is, I want like
We want that for you
everybody,
too.
like, yeah, but I also am okay with even less. But like, if you look at like what we have as far as our technology and like our brains and everything, like we could be doing everything a lot better. We could be doing things a lot different. Like we have the means and the technology to share more readily with people and see all humans
Yeah.
as humans, but we just continue to do what we've been doing because it's what we've been doing.
Yeah.
But how can
Mhm.
we on a big scale
Well,
knock it the fuck off,
yeah.
man?
Well, and I don't think it's even about like, it's not about handouts. It's not about giving things. It's about getting the crap out of the way so people can live their lives and make it what they want to be, right? It's
Yeah,
not,
but you do have to acknowledge that if we all have a leg up and they're all scraping to get up, and that doesn't mean
yeah,
even
absolutely.
only like people of color. I
Yeah.
mean, there are people of all, like they like us to think, and I think that that's a way that they separate us. They talk about it as like you being lower socioeconomic, but I know that a lot of the people I work with are in similar boats. They don't
Exactly.
necessarily have the aspect of the police though, and that's
Yeah.
just yet another
Yeah.
barrier, yet another thing that's there to kind of to pull you down.
And
So
that, and
it's an entire system.
and not to cut you off, but like
Please do. I won't shut
in
up.
society, like what's the biggest fear? I mean, the worst thing that can happen is you go broke and you go in debt, right?
Yeah.
That's the worst
know.
thing that can happen. But it's not for us, like the worst thing that happens is you spend most of your life behind bars, like in a small cage. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
And that shouldn't be a fear, especially if you're not like a fucking criminal.
and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to like, just loom on it, but it's so there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
there's no avoiding it. It's so there. Like,
Yeah. And it's so hard because so many people feel like they take offense to it as though it's on an individual level, like, but I know a cop and he's great. And I'm like, I know many cops who are great and they don't act this way. But it's just kind of the same argument with like the whole not all men. And it's like, well,
yeah,
they'll say not all men until men don't feel safe to act the way that they do. You know what I mean? Until men
Yeah.
stop men from acting a certain way, it's all men. And it's the same with the cops. Until cops can hold other
responsibility.
cops responsible, which it seems like with certain unions and things, that's hard. It's like
Mhm.
everything's become so complicated and convoluted. And it's like, but we're all just fucking humans. Can we stop this? Like,
Yeah.
everybody start thinking a little bit. Why are you doing the things you're doing? Why are you operating the way you're operating? Do you have hate? Because the systems that you uphold have hate. Can we change this?
Yeah. I think for cops, it's probably really hard to turn in people that you've worked with for a long time. Like it's the same about like women who are abused by their spouses because they're like, oh, well, most of the time he's not a
Yeah.
jerk. And it's
Yeah.
just this one or two times,
And you
you
don't
know
want
what
to
I mean?
ruin their life.
And you make excuses. Yeah. And I think it's really hard for them. But Jiminy Christmas, it's also hard to go to jail when you're not in the
Yeah.
wrong. And it's really hard to not feel safe sitting on your own front porch. And
Yeah, and I'm not saying turn someone in for just being like an asshole. I'm saying if they
Yeah.
are showing tendencies that show that they are actively racist and acting on it, if they're showing, you know what I mean? Like there's things like that that you should and can call out instead of just being like, oh, he's just an asshole. No,
Yeah.
that's something that affects somebody else's life negatively. He doesn't get that right. Like
Yeah.
he's here to help, not to be a hindrance. And
yeah.
like
And
our
I've even had managers that, they themselves didn't know how to draw that line. Like they didn't feel as if they were racist, but a lot of the things they would do were racist, and they didn't like receiving the input from everyone about what they did
yeah,
because they don't feel racist. You know what I'm saying? And you can see it, like
I saw
they
it.
don't mean it, but
Yeah.
unintentionally it's there.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of times, like once you call somebody a thug, you just say the word. Like you obviously think something about that, and you wouldn't just call me that, you know? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, granted, I have my own set of words that they could call me, but either way, just stop it.
Yeah.
One thing, this is a little bit on a tangent, but one thing that I've always thought would really help is if the legal system were more online and paper based. So you don't even give a name, you just have, plaintiff A
Facts.
and defendant B, and you just state what the problem is, right? You have the
Mhm.
problem and you have any facts that are relevant to it, and then you deal with it that way. Because I think a lot of people, judges and lawyers and things, are a little more biased than they would like to believe they are.
Yeah, and it would be nice
Right.
if also people with money couldn't pay their way out of situations because it would be black and white. This is what was done.
No pun intended.
Haha, I see what you did there.
Uh-huh. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that would go a long way to help. But
No, I think
that's the only real
sounds-
idea I had.
That's a great idea. It's an
So,
idea.
Yeah.
Something.
More ideas how to enact it. I do not know.
Facts. Gotta work on that part.
Yeah. Anyways,
And so any other advice for us on how to live life in a less, I don't know, racist
Just
way?
take the time to drive through the worst neighborhood that you know of, and just realize that
Yeah.
people live there. You know what I'm saying? Full time. Like that's the best advice I can give you. And I know it's not much of advice, but just to be in the
No,
mindset, because like I never want to go too into it, because people live this life to an extent to where if I talk about it, it makes them feel embarrassed, or you know what I'm saying? So I don't
yeah,
want to even
Yeah.
look at it in a negative aspect,
No.
but like
it's not a pity thing. It's just a life thing.
yeah,
To
not being able to have like clean clothes, like sharing clothes with half the family, or
Mhm.
eating food that may or may not be full of bugs, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like that's a huge one that every
yeah,
kid that I know of growing up had to deal with. And you wouldn't even hear about it in school because everyone's dealing with it at home. You know what I'm saying? So little things like that, just the environment that we grow up in, and then what we have to look forward to when we get out of the environment, and then how much that knocks us right back down to the environment.
So instead of trying to figure out just how to, I don't know, just basically go be part of the environment.
That's it. That's all I can say.
Mhm.
I mean, it sounds crazy, right? Go get a cheap house in a bad neighborhood. But if everybody was to do that, then the neighborhood probably wouldn't be as bad. And, economically, you would bring in more revenue to the neighborhood, be able to do more things. Like I know a lot of communities that have, I don't know, 5, 10,000 kids, but they don't have a single park in 2 mile radius, you know.
Yeah, that's
But if you go
ridiculous.
to the other side, you got 3 parks in 1 block,
Yeah.
you know.
And part of that is because we have a voice as white people. Most of our politicians are white, and
Yeah,
whether they want to think of it or not, they like in some way it's just furthering it. So if we had more people, I think we need more people in like all walks of politics, and they literally have to come from certain places.
definitely,
Like
definitely.
we
yeah, that would
shouldn't be
help.
allowed to only have old white men. Like that should be barred. Like we need so much. We are a diverse place. We need such a diverse group to be leading us, instead of
Absolutely.
fighting over stuff that doesn't affect us even day to day, or probably in our lifetimes. They're just fighting about their own rich stuff. And I'm like, hey, wait. I mean, we need to do
Yeah,
this different on some level, whatever level we can. We need more like diversity in our leadership, and so we can be taking care of everybody instead of just everybody taking care of their own.
Okay,
yeah,
one more little tad
No, please give
absolutely. Go.
more,
before we're
please.
done. I just noticed this was a
I'm
big
sorry.
thing. The other day I was talking to my uncle, and I was telling him I don't know anybody who's 40. You know what I'm saying? That, like a black male.
Oh,
You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
no,
it's like be
Like,
40 this year. I'm
and
sorry.
especially like he
Yeah.
was like, oh, I know a couple. Like he's worked with a few, and he has a couple in his family. But like in my family, there's none. And then where I've grown up, like there's not many. You know what I'm saying? But
really.
unfortunately, when I got locked up, I found so many people of my age group. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Like my age group, and of course older. You know what I'm saying? But
Uh-huh.
it's
That's where they
amazing.
were.
Yeah, and it's like people you haven't seen since middle school or high school, and it's just like, you think these people are off, living their best life, and it's like, no, I've been here because of one bad day, that happened on this day. And it really sucks. But like not to bring that back up, but I just noticed that was a big deal because I was telling him, I don't know anybody who's 38, 39. And he
Mm,
was like,
Yeah,
I don't either.
that's
He
crazy.
only knows a couple.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
And
that.
that age group is so needed. Like they're needed in their families, they're needed in the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
That's
And
a
it's still
big
pretty
chunk to be
young.
missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not something I've
absolutely.
ever really thought about or heard of.
Yeah.
40 is
Well,
super duper young. It's
yeah,
like the
most
youngest.
professional
No, I'm just kidding.
athletes and celebrities are in their prime at 40. Professional athletes and celebrities.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some
Yeah.
people just aren't even making it there. And
Yeah.
it's crazy. And there's multiple reasons. Like I said, it's layered, but for the most part, you just got to see it. You know,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
just got to see it. If
Yeah.
everybody's
Choose
seen
to
it, it
see it
wouldn't be
whether or
there.
not you think you don't see it.
Yeah,
Look
if
farther, look
everybody's seen it.
deeper. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
Until
think
you
you don't
feel
see it,
like you
pretend you
want
don't.
to, yeah, you should be thinking you want to help bring people up. So you have to see it before you can help bring it up.
Definitely.
You can't just sit here and be like, I wish well on everyone,
Yeah.
because that was me.
I
And
I
want
wished
everyone to have a
well.
puppy.
yeah, and
Yeah.
everybody can
Yeah.
go to a soup kitchen.
Yeah.
But to go into the neighborhood, to be seen, to feed the kids, to buy clothes, to like there's holidays where people all neighborhoods bundle up at one house to get small plates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's probably a lot of fun, I would imagine. No.
Well, you get too many people in
It
one
would be
place.
funner.
Oh, sorry. No, I'm just
If-
thinking of because I have some memories when I was younger that when I tell the stories, they're things we did because we were poor, but it led to like really fun, like we spent a lot of time together.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Versus,
definitely as a
things
kid
like
being
that.
amongst other kids, but like, how long before something breaks out because people are hungry and there's only so much food? And,
True. You're
you know,
right.
Emotions
we-
run high.
We're gonna
Yeah.
fight right here, argument verbally, but then when we disappear, like your house is right in front of my house. Like we didn't even drive away from each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's that small.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll try to find a way to do that. You might have to guide me though, because I don't.
It's a
Like,
process. It's a
yeah.
process because we want to get everybody out of that situation, right? And
Yeah.
most people don't even know that getting out of that situation is real. Most people don't know that situation is real. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the
Well,
contrast between the two.
I think so many people don't even see like the reality of their own situation. And I can only say that because I did not see the reality of my situation when I was like very Mormon and I felt very happy about everything I was doing and my choices. And then now later I'm like everything's literally so stupid. I'm just like, I think
It's so different,
That's
huh?
just me because I feel like you think you're thinking for yourself, but you're thinking the things you've been told to think for your entire life. Like it's
can understand
like impossible to feel like you can be taught one thing your whole life and have thought for yourself.
Word.
So.
But in another way, it is. I can only imagine it must be cool feeling to be a part of something bigger, like a
Yeah,
big
the
family, a
community of
big
it, I like. That's the only
community.
thing I could possibly miss, and maybe
Yeah.
that's why I like to host so much. I'm always having people over, but
Yeah.
I don't want a bunch of people who are saying exactly what I'm saying. They're so boring. They're so like literally we can only talk about the next time we'll be here talking about God. I don't know.
No, they
Sorry.
complained a lot
Sorry.
too. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, you talk shit about people. That's how you get out your anger. Just kidding. We're
That's
being
right.
mean. Yeah.
I do the same
Anyway.
thing sometimes. It's not just a religious thing.
No. I know. I know. And there are a lot of
No, it is.
hi kid. Oh no, I just
What?
heard your kid, so I was like, hi.
Oh yeah. I'm in a big area.
Awesome.
It's chill.
Awesome.
He's
Hi,
not
Chael.
sitting on my lap this time though.
No. Oh,
Well, thank you for coming on and trying to teach us a little bit. And
yeah.
Oh, man, thank
I
you
will
for
take
your
a lot of these
time.
things to heart.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I-
Thank you
I
for
enjoy
giving
it.
me the opportunity
Awesome.
to speak and be heard. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I know. And we don't really have much of a platform. Hi, Lisa. This is Nick. I told
That's my mom.
I told him we have a fan.
Yeah, one. My husband watches too.
Oh yeah, sorry. Hi,
Hey.
Cody.
And they're gonna come in the bundles now. They're gonna come in bundles and then waves. So
Oh, okay, sweet. Oh, Anthony said we
Good.
need to start saying to like and subscribe. If you're
Like and
watching
subscribe.
us.
I should have my son do it because he's every time we do a video, he's like, smash that subscribe button. like, dude, we're just videoing you for 2 minutes. It's okay.
Oh, my girls used
Like
to do
and
that too.
subscribe.
I have videos of like them doing makeup and they would say stuff like that. They're looking at it and they're recording themselves. Nothing was ever posted. But yeah, they're
Yeah,
like,
no.
if you want me to do this, tell me. Like, I'm like, you are so freaking cute. They just mimic exactly what they've been seeing on YouTube and stuff.
On
So I
YouTube,
guess
yeah.
that's what we're supposed to do though. So
Okay. Yes.
guess.
Like and subscribe.
yeah.
Oh, oh, hey, wait. I have somebody.
Hi, Jill.
Can you say like and subscribe?
Batman. Awesome. Oh yeah.
Anyway.
And also comment what you want us to talk about because sometimes we wonder.
It's good to know. It's true.
Yeah.
Heard
We just
that.
like
We
talking,
talk a
we'll
lot,
talk
but
about
most of the
anything.
time it's about nothing. Yeah.
Well,
Sometimes it's
love
nice to have a
come on
topic.
anytime.
Okay.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick
We'd love to
another
have you.
topic and you can
We
come.
can do a business day next time.
Business day.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Again, another way to help everybody out. Tell them how to get help.
Yeah.
There you
Okay.
go.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Knowledge. Knowledge helps everything.
Yeah. No, for realsies though. All right. Well,
This
I
sounds
love
good.
you.
Nick, it was nice to
Oh,
meet
yeah.
you.
Yes, ma'am. It was a pleasure.
and apparently
yeah,
you'll
and
see
Rachel,
him
always
again.
good to talk to you.
Not
Awesome.
you.
I
Not
hope
you.
so.
Awesome sauce.
Just kidding.
Not me.
I was trying to be funny, but it
Like,
failed.
what?
And now I'm like, asshole. Sorry.
No.
Anyways. All right. Well, I love you. I'll talk to you
Always
later.
fun. All right, Lilas.
Bye.
See ya.
Lilas.
Bye.
Bye.